Welcome to our Wednesday program for our Women's Entrepreneurship Initiative at USPTO. Today we are in Memphis, Tennessee, and we are hosting our panel for the WE program for leading women who are going to share their journeys of success. And each of the women on our panel today are entrepreneurs and partners that work with entrepreneurs to help bring their product to market. Today, our panel will be hosted by Robin Evans, Deputy Commissioner for Patents. And Robin, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Sean. I am delighted to sit at the table with these three women. They have a lot of experience behind them. They have incredible journeys that they will share with us so that each of you hopefully can take a few nuggets to help you on your journey. What I'm going to ask them to do right now is to introduce yourself, each of you, and then just give us a general overview of your business. And we will start with you, Mia.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mia Lopez. I am part of IO Group. I started my first business, which is my event planning company, Ivory and Oak. That was back in 2016 when I was 15 years old. Throughout the years, I have opened up multiple companies, namely my wine label for my TV network. And now I am doing community development with IO Group. So.
Great. Good evening. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. I am BJ Chester Tamayo, Betty Joyce. I am from Meridian, Mississippi, so I call myself a SIP girl. I've been on Elsenius, the world's greatest restaurant, not in Memphis, not in Tennessee, but the world, because I have more love than anybody. So I started the restaurant after I lost my only child in a motorcycle accident. I wanted to manufacture. I took the first job, peach preserve, when he was 14 to someone. And the only thing they did tell me that I had a product. Once I lost him in an accident at 22, I didn't know what else to do. But what my mom used to always do to bring people together, and that was to cook through love. So that's where Elsenia revolved from. And God has just have been so good that I didn't cook growing up. I didn't barely even wash dishes. So people tell me at home I didn't boil eggs, I couldn't boil water. But now, thanks to the world's greatest customers and greatest support groups, that I do own Elsenia's. And I'm just blessed. Just blessed. That's all I can say. And been featured on some of everything in international as well as local. Thank you.
Great. Rhonda.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Robin, and everyone with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. My name is Rhonda Brown. I am the Director of Real Estate and Economic Development for the Memphis Medical District Collaborative. We are a community development organization that work with medical and educational institutions, anchor institutions, to strengthen 2.6 miles between Midtown and downtown. So we work every aspect of community development, from workforce strategies, getting creative jobs for individuals that may not have those opportunities. We have 7 neighborhoods that we work with, and we have with that our communications and marketing department who really activate those neighborhoods. We also have streets and public safety. So we have streetscapes, things of that. And my job, and as I shared, I say I have 6 hats. 2 hats, 3 buckets in each hat. So real estate side, well, I'm working to create affordable housing, workforce housing, and education for emerging developers. And on the economic development side, working with small businesses with business recruitment, business support, and our procurement by local program, where we want our participating anchor institutions to work with local minority and women-owned businesses.
Great. Thank you, Rhonda. So I want to ask each of you ladies, I want you to think about before you started your business journey, your everyday life, your community, your family. And I want to talk about that experience and what from that experience influenced where you are today, and that journey there. And we'll start with you, Mia.
So, as I said before, I was 15 years old when I first started my first company with event planning. My biggest start was actually my father. My father was a huge inspiration and basically the whole reason why I'm doing all of this and why I'm doing it now. He was a very, very smart person. He was an aeronautical engineer and he used to sit me down and we would go over like business, logistics, construction, any type of project that he would have, whether it be around the house or anywhere else. He would always tag me along and I would learn from him with that. So he really taught me everything it is that I know now when it comes to business. And we were going to go into business together before he passed away. This was the same year that I started. So it was a very tough time because he was really the man of the house. He was there for everything. He was the breadwinner. And when it came down to the point when he passed and we basically went down from 3, 4 incomes down to one because my mom used to work at the IRS and there she is over there. And I took a big leap because at the time I was still in school. I was still trying to find my way around the world. And I went up to her and tell her, I said, do you trust me? And she said, with what? And I said, if you can help me and we can basically pick up where my dad left off, us doing this business, us doing event planning, because that was the first event that I ever did was my own quinceañera. That was my basically first step into event planning industry, business as a whole. So she basically just went, okay, I trust you, and full throttle. So ever since then, from the time of 2016 all the way until now, it was just a natural progression of me going from event planning, doing multicultural events, to for-profit, nonprofit organizations, corporate events. And it transitioned to, well, what do people have or what do people do when you're at events? You drink. and at that time I was it was 2018, so I was 17 at the time. And so I said, why don't we just open our own wine label? And I obviously, I was not 21 at the time, so I couldn't even drink, but there were no rules that said you can't own it, and I couldn't distribute anything until I was 21. So we went on from there, and we were going through when COVID was happening, a lot of people had to move to online, and we had to basically pivot everything that I was doing. A lot of people's that showcase their stuff on like Instagram, Facebook, anywhere, any social media platform, we're not getting the coverage that they needed. So I sat down with my team that I was creating at the time, and I said, well, what can we do to help people showcase their work? But if they were showcasing it on, say, like YouTube or something like that, they would not own their property. You would submit it, but they would take a percentage of whatever that you would make off of it. Same with Instagram, same with Facebook. So I said, why don't we just create a TV network solely for people that are in the entrepreneurial space or people in business? So whether you're doing politics, you're doing like Ms. BJ in the food industry, food and beverage industry, you can showcase your work, whether it be a TV series, movie, documentary, and you would still own 100% of the right of your work. And from then on, it was just project after project after project until now I'm in community development with IO Group and in the process of building and owning my first hotel.
That's wonderful, right? Here's your Gen Z, right? Amazing. Not even 30 years old. I appreciate the inspiration that your father gave you. My father was a big part of my life as well, and something we have in common. One of his favorite sayings to us was, I can show you better than I can tell you. And I know that that's strong in your journey as well. We appreciate what you're doing and what you're going to continue to do in all of her fields, right? All of her fields and endeavors. Ms. BJ, you talked about losing your son and how I think I read that you shut down literally for 2 years. So how did you come out of that? And what is the inspiration for your restaurant?
Thank you. Yes, I lost my son. I talked to him 1 minute, then the next minute he was gone. So, my world stopped. I was under psychiatrist and psychologist, care. I slept on the mattress. I slept on a mattress for about 9, 10 years before I would even get back into bed. Because he was my world. You lose a child, a part of you die, you're never the same. And but like I said, when he was 14, I took the first job, a peach preserve, because especially in the Black community, we have African American community, we have so many great cooks and recipes, but a lot of time when those people die, the recipes die with them. And that was something that I did not want to happen, because my mother, Alcinia, was a phenomenal cook. She started cooking at the age of 9. My grandfather had 27 kids. So 18 by one wife, 9 by one wife, and 9 by the other wife, and he lived to be 93. So I've always had that entrepreneur spirit from my family. At 15, I used to own a clothing store because I used to love clothes. But then when I started thinking about in the community how many times the recipes die, so that's why I said, well, I don't want my mother recipes to die with her. So, and in the killing part, my mother did not measure anything. So my mother would a hand of this, a dab of that. And so when I opened the restaurant, I wanted to manufacture. So somebody said, well, have you ever thought about opening a restaurant? And I'm like, no, I never thought about it. So I just decided to open a restaurant. Had never been a waitress, did not cook, did not know anything. So the name Alcina Desserts and Preserve came from, because I was going to say, oh, people can come in and play games, or they can come in and have a dessert. And so the first day I opened, November the 7th, 1997, was Holy Convocation. So people started coming in and saying, where the greens, where the chitlins, where this. And I called my mom and said, oh my God, give me these recipes. And she said, I started to tell you that wasn't going to work having no desserts. So my mother literally trained me from over the phone and from coming to Memphis. My mother would call me and say, it should be this color by now, or it should be that color by now. And Tawana, Tiffany met my mom, and if you ever met Alcinia, Venetia, I think met her. My mother was phenomenal. My mother lived to be 98 years old. She still knew her first Easter speech. She still knew her first Mother's Day speech. So that's where my inspiration came from. I didn't need a mentor outside my home. My mentor was inside my home, which was my mother and my father. And everybody always stopped by our house. Because my mother always cooked. She always had so much food, even though it was just the three of us. So when I graduated from school, I'm an old grad. I didn't graduate till 96. I lost my son in 96. And then that's when I decided to open the restaurant. And you came today. So Carol was there today. So that's why I'm late. Restaurant, Tiffany worked for me at Tawana. It's not an easy business. It's a very, 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 very hard business. But there is only one Alcinia. When I tell you, baby, no brags, just facts. They treat me like a stepchild, but I am a Cinderella. And I am going to make it, because it's hard. It's hard being in business. First of all, being African-American. I keep it real. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I always used to tell my grandbaby, if I was white, like what that woman did, the chocolate chip cookies. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I can't even think of her name. Miss Fields. I would have been a millionaire 10 times over. But a lot of time, your mother have been a great help to me, because college does not teach you how to run a business. I don't know what college does, but they don't teach you how to run a business. And a lot of time within the African-American community, we don't have the money, we don't have the funding to have the accountants. We don't have the money to have the lawyer. We don't have the money to have what we truly need in order to grow our business. So when you do find someone that's willing, like Mill's mother, Yolanda, to help someone, even though I've been in business 27 years in November, it still feels like I'm just now starting. And it is hard. And I treat every single person that come into Alcinia's, I treat them like you're part of my family, because I do not take them for granted. And I know without them, there would not be no Alcinius. So I tell people I have the world's largest, greatest family. I had someone come in right when I left. They was from Chicago, and we was closed. I closed at 2:30. People were still coming, and they said their son now is 17, but he was there at 8 years old. They showed me the picture where he was under my breast. Now he's over my head. He had to come back, and he constantly talk about me. That's what business is. And that's what a lot of times within the small business, that we have that love. I have that passion for my customers. And where a lot of time in corporate America, it's strictly about the dollar. Don't get me wrong. Now, I want to be a millionaire 10 times over, but my customers are my first priority. So I could talk forever, but Alcinius, like I say, I was never wanted a restaurant. I wanted a clothing store. I wanted to be a lawyer. My son got in trouble when he found out my ex-husband was not his father, and he rebelled against me. So I wanted to do pro bono. So now I'm still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. But one thing I do know I want to be when I grow up, I want to change people's lives around me, because it's not just about me. It's about making other people's lives better. And that's why I work as hard as I work. And that's why.
Thank you. Thank you. You can hear the passion in her voice. We appreciate the baby boomer up here. So we have the Gen Z, the baby boomer. Rhonda, tell us a little bit about your experience, please.
Well, growing up, I would say I came from an entrepreneur family. My dad did everything under the sun. We had a dump truck that never did anything with. He was he wanted to play the guitar. He did a lot. But the one thing that I can say with my parents is they started purchasing real estate back in the 60s before I was born. And that was really kind of unknown in the African-American community. And my parents built up a portfolio that they left me. That when I was growing up, I didn't really understand, like, okay, oh my God, they have to go collect rent. And they did old school. They would drive to your house. The people would be ready. Well, first they had to wait for the people to call on payday for them to pay their rent. But I always had that entrepreneurial spirit in me. And after high school, and I'll say late in life, I had my baby late. I went to school late, but I can't say it's never late, because here I am now. And what I shared yesterday, and I'm going to share this now, I spoke at an event and I told the emerging developers, I say, if you don't know me, you need to know me. So I'm telling all of y'all here, if you don't know me and the ones that's online, you need to know me. But back to the regular programming. So my foundation was in banking. And so when I started working in banking, I worked with small businesses. And when I realized how I was helping them to succeed, from a small franchise owner to a doctor's office, and they were calling me and, asking me, what do you think I need to do with this? And I'm just spitting out, well, you may want to do this. And that helped grow their businesses or their practices. That's what I enjoy doing. Anybody, I think I have some of my clients in here know that I go hard for my clients. They know. So if it's something that I'm able to do to help them to succeed, learning everything that I did from my parents and my community, I'm going to do it. So my journey has been, I've been in this game, what I tell people, 30 years. I created the game. That's what I tell them. I created it. So just working with small businesses and helping them get to where they need to be. I can honestly say I have helped some small businesses become millionaires. And they, till today, will call and say, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So that foundation with my dad and seeing him doing everything under the sun, and with my parents, and now helping small businesses like this, they are what make me want to go out and do more.
That's wonderful. And Ms. BJ, you mentioned the connection between all of you all. the inspiration is family, right? Ms. BJ, you mentioned you hit some stumbling blocks. People weren't there for you. You didn't know how to grow your business. One of the things about We Wednesday, that's what we're here for, to connect those dots. So the journeys that you hear, the pieces, the nuggets that they're dropping, please pick them up. That some of those walls that they hit, you don't have to hit them as hard as they did, right? You also mentioned you had a product, right? I also think it's important. I need to say this, right? When you have intellectual property, when you have a product, when you have a name, please make sure you protect it. You talked about lawyer. We have pro bonos, attorneys that work with entrepreneurs so that they can protect their intellectual property. If you're not sure what type of property you have, whether it's a trademark, a patent, a design, a copyright, you have articles that you've published and books that you've written. We have on our website IP identifier tool. So for those of you who are not sure of what you have, please visit that website. But I want to go back to you, Mia. You talked about going into distributing even when you couldn't drink. And you said what made you do that is your event production. So you wanted to add that wine to it. Can you tell us about how you got started? How does someone start a wine collection? And then I mentioned that you were Gen Z because she told me she was Gen Z, right? I mentioned that you were Gen Z, and I want to ask you what challenges you faced as a woman of color, as a younger person, and how did you persevere and overcome those challenges?
Going to your first question about the wine, like I said, that it was a natural progression between what people do at events, because a lot of the clients that I serve, they're multicultural, they're for-profit, nonprofit, corporate. So a lot of these people will, instead of going out, I said, well, why not just keep it in-house? If I'm already doing the event for you, you can also take a sample of the wine or have them catered out to different events anywhere nationally or internationally. So of course, when I came up with the idea, I was not of legal age to drink yet. So when we were setting up the process of having it named, having it branded, having it trademarked, I had used my Ivory and Oak brand for it. And I had labeled it and named it after my father's birthday, 1666, because he was born in January 6th in 66. And I also, about a little tidbit about the history, when I looked up about the year, that year is actually very significant because it's the great year for wine. During, I think it was 66 in England, I believe there was a great fire. So in order to preserve and keepsake their wine, they buried it underground until the fires were down. And when they dug them up, they were all pure. They were all very good condition. So that was what was considered the great year for wine. I trademarked that name back in 2018. So I had to sit on it because there were laws, of course, you can't drink it, you can't distribute it until I had turned 21 in 2022. So I had contacted the wine foundry out in Napa, California, and they were able to work with me. They were very, very, very helpful, all the way from bottling to labeling to distributing, all within their own wheelhouse. But going to your second question about a lot of the struggles that I had faced, age was a big part of it. A lot of the projects and stuff that I had wanted to do or were waiting in line for me, if it wasn't about my skin color, it was about my ethnicity, because I am half Hispanic, I am half Mexican. And if it wasn't either of those things, because I would bring to the table, well, if it's not that, then it must be experience. Well, you can't say that because I have a whole team of people behind me that are have experience well beyond I've been alive to be able to bring to the table. This is a viable project to do, but it's not that, oh, we can't do it because of your age. And I've hit a lot of roadblocks and had to navigate through that winding road because my age was such a hindrance to other people, not to myself. I've never thought that age and experience could equate to how old someone is. I mean, you've got a whole panel of people from different generations, like Miss Rhonda, who is a Gen X, Miss BJ, who's a baby boomer, me, who's a Gen Z, and the people that come after me, who all have different experiences or wanting. It should not define, I feel, should not define with what you're wanting to do in whatever profession that you're trying to do.
Thank you. And so I want to make sure, the reason why I asked about the experience and the age is because, again, we are trying to build, connect, collaborate, and celebrate here. And I think the challenges that Mia faced, some of us will face them again if we haven't already. So don't let that define you. Ms. BJ. Would you mind talking about some of the challenges that you faced? Because Ms. BJ said she started out just wanting to have desserts. So day one, you said you opened up and people were asking about food. How long after that did you transition from just food, from just desserts into food, and talk about some of the challenges you faced in doing that?
2 minutes.
She switched in 2 minutes.
I called my mom on the phone, and that's when I told her I need the recipes, and that's when she told me, I told you that wasn't gonna work. So she said, I thought it wasn't gonna work. She didn't tell me it wasn't. So that same day, I sent people out to get greens, to get yams, to get everything except the chitlins. I only did the chitlins when Mama came, and we started cooking. And like I said, she trained me over the phone. She would call me back and tell me it should be this by now or that by now. Because like I say, my mom was, to me, one of the greatest cooks that ever walked this earth. So I didn't need anybody else's recipes. I had everything I needed right there. And I guess I'm like Rhonda and Mia. My grandfather, was an entrepreneur. I mean, so I've always wanted to own my own business since the age of 15, but it was just in the clothing line. I never thought about food until my son was 14. So if he was 14, I probably was like, I'm trying to think, it's my mind right now, I can't even think. I'm 20 years older than Go-Go. So I would have been 34. And that's when I realized in the African-American community, how many times our products die with our relatives. So that's when I transitioned over to wanting to manufacture. But that is a field that is so closed to African American to me, because like I said, we don't have the know-how, we don't have the capital. I've been trying to get a co-packer for I don't know how long, and I can't find anybody to make my products the way I make my products, because you would have to be a genius to come up with a new product. But it's about the technique. It's about how I cook it. So my apple butter, I have you samples of apple butters back there. It is the best. No brags, just facts. Anything I tell you about our seniors, you can bank on it. So like I say, but my mom, all this stuff she made up herself. So I don't use anybody else's recipes. So the challenge have been, first of all, I was never heard of. So I opened a business, didn't know how to cook, never was heard of, had never been a waitress, didn't even know what prepping was. People that worked for me had worked at restaurants, but they knew what prepping was, but never told me. So they would come in the morning time instead of doing some of it in the evening time, because like I said, I had never ran a restaurant. But the killing part, I had graduated from school May of 96. I opened my business October of 97, and I majored in business. So this is what I'm saying. College did not teach me. And I would like to say this because I don't want to go without saying this. I could not be here without the MMDC. And it started with the young lady sitting back there in the green dress, Venetia. She's always telling me she wanted to help me. So in 2020 during COVID, I purchased my building. African-American woman in downtown, don't you tell me about my Jesus and what he won't do. I own my building. Very few African-American female own a business, not only in Memphis, but period in this country, in a downtown area. Then after Venetia left, Rhonda picked me up. So then also the center city. So I've had people to believe in me, but believe me, I have worked hard. And if you don't want to work hard, don't go in business for yourself. I tell my granddaughter back there all the time with that red hair that I don't know about anybody else. I will go to casinos because I know the only way I'm gonna make it is through hard work. And she'll say, "Stop saying that." I say, "But it is. It's hard. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Everybody would be doing. But make sure whatever business you in, treat your customers like they the only one to me. I treat every single customer that walked into our seniors. I hug them. I tell them thank you because you saw that today. And I will walk out in that flow like I did today and told them, look, there ain't but two people here. Be patient. It's gonna be good. So I just keep it real. Roy know that, but I'm just saying the challenges have been just knowing where I need to be, know the product that I have, and haven't been able to get there. That's what hurts so bad. That's what hurts so bad.
Miss BJ, can you tell us about some of the resources that helped you in that struggle?
During COVID, oh my God, this guy I know have a business and he've never seen anybody receive funding like I did. When they had the Discovery, I don't know if you all know it, but Discovery gave African American restaurant money. I won that. I won something through Heinz Initiative. I won something else with somebody, I can't call their name, but they had called me and wanted my story. And they had a thing, they said for small business. I didn't know to COVID that 499 was considered as a small business. Unless you had 501 employees, you're large. But if you have 499 employees, you're small. So they had said this was a grant for 30,000, 15, and 10 for small business. So after they called with my story, and then I made the 100, I'm like, oh, I'm in the final. Then I called it later. I said, okay, I ain't heard anything. Did I win? She said, no, you didn't win. I'm like, I didn't win, but y'all want my story. So when I looked at the people that had won, somebody was standing in front of helicopters, somebody had horses, but you could tell that everybody had money. And then I said, let me ask you something. Any African American ever won the $30,000? So I tell you what, you can't use my story. So to make a long story short, they said, we don't give money to profit places. I end up getting double of what they had for the prize. When I tell you about my Jesus, that I'm his favorite child, you better believe me, because I'm not playing with you. But it's just, I mean, the challenges, but I work. I put in the time. I treat everybody to come through that door like Alcini, like they the only person that exists. And it's so much I have to learn. It's so much I have to learn. But y'all pray for me because I want to manufacture. I want to make the people around me to be all of us millionaires, not just BJ. So it's hard. I don't know. I get all off, but it's just restaurant business is very, very hard. It's very, and so many in Memphis, I don't know if you know, but already 10 restaurants have closed in Memphis this year. Already. But like Rhonda was telling me today, she said, but you there, you put in. I treat people and, you know, I just treat you like you're part of my family. Talk to you crazy. If I don't talk to you crazy, I don't like you. So believe me, if you come there, I don't talk to you crazy, I don't like you. But really, I just treat everybody and I give them a product that if I don't want, I'm not going to give it to you. So it's about you really just keep trying. Like Meal Age, her problem, her thing is if you're too young. Mine's, what do you see that they offer? I'll be 70 years old. I know I'm cute in September. But what do you see that they offer somebody for 70-year-old? If you're in business, if you're 50 years old, it's everything 30 and under, 40 and under, but you never think about someone my age that we're never being honored. Think about it. You don't see nothing for that. It's always the young or the middle age. But the one thing it's just like we throwing out the pastor. I'm not in nobody pastor, baby. I'm just beginning to live. But it's hard being in business.
Yeah. So keep on.
Okay.
Determination.
Determination.
Is it, and stay with it.
Right. And you got to love it. You got to love what you're doing. If you don't love, if you just in it for the money, to me, it's not going to work. And that's why I think a lot of those restaurants have closed, because those owners are not there. They're most of the time, they're very, very rich people, and they're not the only, they have partners. So when they don't make their bottom line, they just shut down the door. Whereas with me, I keep putting in and keep putting in and keep putting in, because I believe. I also think my location has a lot to do with it. By being downtown Memphis, Memphis is not my base. I bet you if I raise your hand right now, how many of you ever been to Elsenius? Oh, my God. Okay. But normally half of Memphis have not been, but when I first opened, but my base is people from all over the world. And by having conference at the Cook Convention Center. And I really do think if I was in any other location in this city that I would be closed, because Memphis is a hard city. Alicia Keys, I'm talking about New York City, concrete jungle. Baby, concrete jungle ain't got nothing on Memphis. So, yeah.
Thank you. Rhonda, let's talk about the collaborative. Both of these women have mentioned you in your business and the programs that you help them with and develop. So can you tell us about the collaborative, the programs? When should a person come to the program, and what do you do to help develop them?
So I would say they should have come yesterday. And that's why I said in the beginning that if you don't know me, you need to know me. At the Memphis Medical District Collaborative, we have so many resources geared towards small business owners. And we are very intentional with working with minority and women-owned business owners. So one of the things that we have is our Mind Your Business series. And as a matter of fact, the facilitator, I think of our Mind Your Business series, Dr. Swift, facilitated our Mind Your Business class today, Understanding Business Contracts. We make sure that we hit on every level of business development for a small business. So if you just have a thought, you can come to me. If you have already opened your business and you just need some help, you can come to me. And we have those resources that can really help you scale and get to a point where you are $1 million business. We, just like you said, you have with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, we have those same services here locally with the Memphis Medical District Collaborative. We have a class once a month. As a matter of fact, for August, September, and October, we have 2 classes a month to help small businesses gain to where we need to be. Today was Meet the Attorney, Understanding Business Contracts. We've had Meet the HR person. We've had Meet the Meet the Attorney to help you understand where you need to be. If you're a sole proprietorship and you're operating as a restaurant, that's a no-no. So we have the resources that is needed that these small business owners can come and get for free. And then they have the pleasure of me either shooting for the hip, because I tell them, and Mia know, and everybody else know, I shoot from the hip. I'm going to tell you if it's going to work. I'm going to tell you if it's not going to work. But if it don't work, I'm going to tell you how we going to make it work. We want everybody in this room to become a millionaire. And you don't have to give me a dime, because I enjoy doing what I do. The president of my organization is here. He know how I operate. He know that I come in every day and I'm focused. With Mia, for example, I have been with Mia for so long that I can almost know what Mia thinking. That's how long I've been there with her. And then it would say, Mia, why are you not doing this? Or Mia, why are you doing this? Mia, you can do this. Even with Miss BJ, just like today, she would, when we were on our way, and she's like, oh, RB, I've been busy all day. That's good, Miss BJ, because you work in your business. That's why you've been busy, because you are working your business. So the resources that we have can literally make you build and scale and bring up your capacity. We help you from, if you're at a point that you need a brick and mortar, you may be an e-commerce business and you want to go into a brick and mortar. I will work with you and even tell you what neighborhood you need to go in order for your business to scale. We have those type of resources. And again, it's free.com. We don't charge for anything. And we make sure we put you out there. October 1st, we're having Taste of the District. Guess who's going to be at Taste of the District? Passing out 300 samples. So we give our businesses these opportunities that they are able to scale and they are able to build capacity and they are able to make money. I don't want them to have challenges. I want them to tell me what their challenges are so I'm able to solve them. So that's what I want to do.
Great, thank you. So Memphis, you know how to connect with Rhonda in the MMDC here in the state. Please connect with her. Rhonda.
www.memphismedicaldistrictcollaborative.org.
There you go.
And make sure you go to our partnership page.
Connect with her. But Rhonda, I have another question for you. We have a lot of folks in the room. We have even more online that may be outside of Memphis, outside of the state. How do people find the programs that you have in their community? We have folks who need what you're saying, those free resources,
Right.
those Rhondas, right? There's probably not another Rhonda, but people similar to Rhonda, how do they connect and find those resources in their communities? Where do they begin?
So even though the Memphis Medical District Collaborative, we cover 2.6 miles, a lot of our programs is open to the Memphis MSA. So when it comes to, business support, our procurement program, they still can come to me even though they may not be within our boundaries. If it's something that, if they're in Mississippi and they're needing some type of support, we do have partner organizations that we work with. One is the Tennessee Small Business Development Center. They're located everywhere. They're probably in every state city. But before you don't even have to go there. You can still come to me and I'm gonna still guide you to where you need to do. Because guess what? If you come to me and you live in Mississippi and your business is in Mississippi, what you think I'm gonna try to do? Recruit you to the medical district, because we want you to come into the medical district. So I would say still come to Memphis Medical District Collaborative, talk to myself or any of my other colleagues, and we can help you.
Great, thank you. You mentioned a very important group, small business, right? One of the things that all of you all have mentioned was about passionate about the folks you work with. You and your production, your planning production, Miss BJ in her restaurant, you in everything that you do with the MMDC. I would like you all each to talk about mentors, what they look like, who they are, and how they've influenced you. Let's start with you, Mia.
I can tell you what my mom had always told me was that you need your perfect triad, your coach, your mentor, and your sponsor. My sponsor and my mentor are right here. They've been with me since the beginning. And my coach, she's sitting over there. That's my mom. She has been with me from the beginning. So.
Oh, okay. First of all, my mom and my dad, that's been mine. And since I've been in the community, I'm from Meridian, Mississippi, and my church and my community was also my mentors. And in the last, like I said, Venetia, Rhonda, Yolanda, and even the people working with me, Tawana, I like to, give a knowledge for her, raise her hand. Tiffany, Tanja, raise their hand. They're my mentors because they always trying to tell me what to do, but I don't listen. So, but you really don't. But those are the people and that have influenced me, and I got so much to learn, but it started off in my household. That gave me
Thank you.
desire.
Rhonda, as you answer that question about mentor, for those folks in the room and online, can you tell us if we are looking for a mentor, a coach, and a sponsor, what should we be looking for in that triad?
So for my mentors, I would say my mom and my dad. Again, my dad did everything under the sun. And what I failed to mention is he was actually a cook at Baptist Hospital on Union Avenue back in the day. A lot of y'all may be too young to remember that. So, but again, they mentored me up into their deaths. When I got into banking, I met a lady that she said, never take no for an answer. You walk into a room like you own it. And anybody that know me know when I walk into a room, I walk into the room and I own it. And I may not know anything about what we about to talk about, but you would never know that. If you need a mentor, I would say get someone that's not always going to say you're doing something right. You want to get someone that's going to say, I shoot from the hip and I'm going to tell you if it's right and I'm going to tell you if it's wrong. I have a close friend here now and she would tell me, I don't know if you need to do that, RB. She called me RB too, Marcina. But she also going to tell me, yeah, that's a good thing for you to do. So don't get what I would say a yes person. Get someone that really would tell you, you may want to look at that a different way. And mostly make sure you get someone that has your back. You can't always tell everybody your dream. So someone you can trust and someone that is willing to say, you may want to look at it a different way. And make sure you walk in and own the room.
There's something else too that say, Franklin, he was saying that sometimes your mentor, it might not be a person in person. Sometimes it might be through a book. It might be, one of his greatest saying, he said, I love by him. He said, everybody want the crown, but don't know, everybody want to wear the crown, but don't nobody want to work to get the crown. Because everybody want to ease. And he said, sometimes it might be a book. It might be somebody. I used to love Les Brown. I don't know if you all remembered him. So he said, you don't have to be all the time a person in person, but you can do it through their, literature or through their books. They can also be your mentor. So it's more than just one way. And I was like, I can never forget that Thomas Boggs with Huey came to me and told me he wanted to help me. And I did not understand what this man was doing. And I regret to the day that I didn't take him up because I was at work. Again, a small business owner. You don't have to be at work, have to, do everything. And I didn't have the time, but I should have made the time. But also look for a mentor for somebody that you admire through books or tapes or whatever.
Or even a panel of entrepreneurs who is sharing their experience. Everybody can pick up a nugget, right? They have walked in some of the paths that you may find yourself in. So, Ms. BJ, I think some of the things that you've shared here today is going to absolutely help someone else on their journey. Rhonda, were you gonna answer?
But what I will say, and Mia touched on this, as a small business owner or as an entrepreneur, you do need a dream team. And even with your dream team, you have to be able to trust them. So, you need your attorney. And if you can't afford an attorney, then there are attorneys out there to do pro bono. You need your accountant. You need your banker. You need to build a dream team that, because again, as a small business owner, you're not going to be able to do everything. And you need those people on your dream team that can just step up. Even with, I work for the Memphis Medical District Collaborative. However, I inherited properties. I call my attorney. What I need to do? I'm not going to make a decision without my attorney who's on my dream team. So make sure that you have a dream team of everyone, your business coach. We have one in here. Raise your hand, Dr. Swift. She's a business coach. That's somebody you can trust, and that's somebody that will be able to help you navigate your small business and entrepreneurship. So always have your dream team.
Thank you. Mia, I want to ask you if you could share with us your philosophy. I'm putting her on the spot. The difference between a goal and a standard.
Again, I'm going back to my mom because my mom has been very instrumental through everything. She, amazing woman, but she actually taught me this, the difference between having a goal and having a standard. Goals are very finite. You can reach it, and then who's to say that you may plateau or you may sink or you may even rise above that. If you're creating a standard for your business, not just your business, but in everyday life as well, you're in constant check every day, doing something for your business. If I do, okay, well, let me change the logo on this one day. And then the next day I may update my social media. If I'm keeping a standard of doing something for my business, because it's just as important working in your business as much as it is working on your business. And before the year is out, I would have done 365 things because I would have made a change here and a change the next day and a change the week after leading up to the end of the year. So that for me would be a standard. Doing minute things to be able to help my business grow, whether it be keeping me updated on trademarks, keeping me updated on what is going on with, on, and in my business. So.
Thank you. I love that philosophy. Ms. BJ, you talked about being in the restaurant business. You talked about still wanting to do distribution. Is that still on the horizon for you?
Yes, I mean, I dream, eat, sleep that. Because as an African-American person, how many times you go to a grocery store, or you go out somewhere and you think about who's creating that? And I would say it's probably less than 1/4 of all the food in the world that is manufactured by African American, even though we are some of the greatest cooks that have ever survived. And that way, like I said, it's not just about me growing. That way I can make other millionaires. And, but yeah, that would be something that, I want to be able to pull back from Alcina a little bit and be able to go to an orchard and reach up and taste an apple and say, that's what I want. I just can't wait. I want to write another cookbook. So it's other things that I want to do. But manufacturing, that is my love. And we do our own cha-cha. We do our own apple butter. I bought some apple butter back there for you. We do our own, fig preserve, pear preserve. I want to bring back those sugar plum memories of things that's gone, that we no longer have, that we need so bad to connect back to who we are, whether we white, black, blue, or green. And that's the old-fashioned desserts and preserves, and that's what Alcina is about, by bringing back sugar plum memories. So that dream would never stop. So if you can help me get there, I'm just... Every day I go to work thinking about, I wake up thinking about it. I go to sleep thinking about it.
I think that's great. I will just let you all know, I went to the restaurant today, and it is an experience to just see Miss BJ move through that restaurant. The food was great. The yams were wonderful, but the experience to see her live what she says she does, and that's give everyone a hug. I think I got 2, and to treat everyone like family. So I appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
Rhonda. And really, this question is for all of you all. I'm checking the time. I'm going to make this the last question because I want to be respectful of time. If someone in the audience or online wants to start the journey, right? Entrepreneur, bring their experience, their passion, what they've gone through, what their family has taught them, answering the call. What should their first step be? What should their next step be? And how can they follow your lead? And I would like each of you to answer that question.
So if you are in Memphis, I want you to contact me at the Memphis Medical District Collaborative. The first thing I'm going to ask you is if you have a business plan. And I would tell my clients that your business plan is your Bible. You should wake up looking at your business plan. You should look at it during the day, and you should go to bed looking at your business plan. However, you don't just do one business plan. As your business scale, you're going to do multiple business plans in order to add to it. So the first thing is, if you have an idea, you have to put it on paper. And once you put it on paper, you have no other reason not to do it. So do a business plan. Again, if you're in Memphis, you will contact me because I'm going to redline your business plan and I'm going to send it back to you, because my job is to look at things that you haven't thought about. So I will ask questions. Well, why are you going to do it this way? Well, why not do it this way? I'm that out of the box thinker. So if you have something that you want to do, put it on paper, share it with someone, a business coach, myself, whoever, that can read it and really analyze that business plan so we can get you to where you need to be. But however, if you are in Memphis, I can't help but keep going back. You need to reach out to the Memphis Medical District Collaborative because of the free resources that we have. We didn't touch on this, but one of the resources that we have is a consumer packaged good cohort that both of them went through and got Miss BJ one step closer to her dream of manufacturing and distributing. Those are the type of resources that we have, and those are the type of resources that you all need to take advantage of. If you have an idea, believe me, I'm gonna get you to where you need to be.
So Rhonda gave the Rhonda RB gave the more professional part. I'm gonna give the personal part. Have some finances, because if you don't have finances, don't you try to start no business. And I'm serious about that, because you got to have your money. And I was able to do it. I took my son's death, his insurance, and I tried to make something positive of it. Because a lot of times, that's why and they said restaurants are the one that failed the most within 1 or 2 years. And that's because we don't have the capital. So you must have, before the capital, you need to, like she said, eat, sleep, and dream. This need to be something that you have a love for, not something just you going into just to make money, but something that you really want to do. You need to make sure that the consumer want to mean what you have. And then to me, you need to make sure that try to get as much knowledge you can about that business, as much resources, and researching you can about that business, as far as is there a need for that, and then look at the community that you live in, see if there's a need for that. And like I said, but you have got to have the resources. You got to have the capital, because without that, it cannot be successful, because too many obstacles can come up. It was days that I made zero. I made a $200 day the other day. I'm like, God, okay, now I'm down here. So you got to have that capital. And it's hard, but as long as you got that desire, don't let nobody, you know what I always say, God is your only period. Everybody else is a comma. So when somebody tell you, baby, you say, and so, until God put that period down there, it don't matter. So if that's what you really want to do, don't let nobody stop you.
And I kind of want to hark back on what Ms. BJ said about having that support. It is really important of having that dream team of the people that will be there to support you. A quote that I've always loved is, there are people for a reason and there are people for a season. And that comes with personal life, with business. There may be partnerships down the road that you may not be aware of, that someone may become that season for you. And I think us all on this panel is proof enough that no matter at what stage in your life or what point that you're starting, whether it be as young as I was or at the current point where Miss BJ is right now, it is not too late if you want to go with that passion that you have to step into that light and move forward with it. I have two quotes that kind of blend in together. They're actually my favorite quotes that I still live by today. One of them is Mark Twain. He says that there are two most important days of your life, the day that you are born and then the day that you find out why. And the day that I found out why, when my father passed, and us starting this and doing this journey of gluing invitations together to now hosting and coordinating and doing all of these events fit for up to 2,000 to 3,000 plus people of all different cultures, of all different sizes. And I don't know if you're familiar with this man. His name is Vusi. You can find him on Instagram, but he said a quote that I really try my best to hold up to each day. He said, work for your purpose and not for your position, because your position may change 2, 5, 10 years down the line. I know that I'm not going to be doing event planning forever. There may be a different calling for me sometime 5, 10 years down the line, but I am praying, yes, and I am playing for my position in the future. So.
Perfect. Thank you. Can we give these women a round of applause? Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope that everyone takes something away from what you've heard today. And with that, I am going to turn it back over to Sean.
So I'd just like to thank our panel once again, and all of you who came and all of you who watched online today. You should be seeing a survey QR code on your screen if you're watching online. And for those of you here, if you don't mind taking the survey, this provides us with information to provide you with additional programs in the future where we can give you more of what you want to see and not just what we think you want to see. So please comment, take the survey, and we look forward to seeing you at our next program.